Why do some young people become homeless?
When we think about the causes of youth homelessness, one of the ways that I think is very helpful to think about it is in three kind of component pieces. And you can think of it as like a pie chart. So we think about it in terms of structural causes, systemic causes, but also individual or relational causes. So the structural causes are those big societal pieces that create the conditions for inequity or discrimination in our society. So, for example, we know that there are huge wait lists for public housing across Canada. There are huge bureaucratic barriers to getting social assistance for youth. We know there's a lack of rent subsidies or other services or supports for this community. And those big structural pieces are kind of the foundation for some of the interpersonal challenges that can happen for a young person. So that's the structural piece. The systemic piece is related to policy failures in public systems like criminal justice, like child welfare, like the education system. So, for example, many young people report that when they leave the child welfare system, they leave without any supports. Some folks say I was given my clothes in a bag in a garbage bag on my 18th birthday and left their foster care. Don't know how to write a check. Haven't been provided with supports or services to find housing, to figure out what their next steps are. So a lack of transition from the child welfare system into homelessness, that's like a direct pipeline. And that's the kind of public system failure that is really increasing homelessness across this country. And third, there are the personal or kind of interpersonal causes of homelessness for young people. And this is often what people think about when we're talking about homelessness. So that could be a mental health crisis in a young person's family. It could be experiences of abuse or violence in their family or in their community. But often it's underpinned by the system and structural pieces. So for folks that have, young people, for example, that have come from wealthier backgrounds, they might experience abuse or mental health crisis in their family, but because they have the buffer of having wealth, of having access to a psychiatrist, of having access to other supports, they don't lose their housing. This really absolutely puts young people who are experiencing poverty at risk of homelessness when those kind of family challenges happen.